everyone, and welcome to this episode of Wild Wolf Love. I'm Christina. I'm so glad you're joining me today because what I want to talk about with you is things that you should never ever feed your dog. And I know that it's hard with those big eyes looking at you. Maybe you've shared with them before because they are kind of family, and it's tempting. It's tempting to want to slip them a bite. But you need to know that there are some foods to never ever feed your dog because some of them can have disastrous effects on their health. Some of them can even prove fatal, which I know is my worst fear because I never ever want to give my dog anything that would harm them. And a lot of these things go for cats too. So if you're a cat lover, if you have both in your family, both of them are probably really bad for them. The first thing is artificial sweeteners. Now, artificial sweeteners, especially xylitol, that's an artificial sweetener, and it's found in everything such as chewing gum, baked goods, vitamins. And Fido may want to get into these because it is something sweet. It smells yummy. But what it can do is it can cause a sudden drop in blood sugar and could cause seizures and liver failure for your dog. So be sure to read any ingredients on a package before sharing any sweet treat or any piece of cake or anything with your dog because xylitol is in a lot of items. It's in a lot of foods, more than I had even imagined. And the next thing to beware of is avocados because of the pits, peels such as citrus peels, any kind of a pit from fruit or a vegetable. You don't want your Fido getting into because though the food, like the avocado, might not be toxic to your dog unless they're allergic to it, the pit of any fruit can cause choking. And if it doesn't cause choking, it could cause an intestinal obstruction. When you're not looking, Fido may get a whiff of that. It may smell sweet. It could be a peach pit. It could even be as small as a plum pit. And that fruit, it can smell sweet to them. It can smell good to them. And they want to eat it. It's thousands and thousands of dollars to give Fido a surgery to remove that obstruction. But also the peels can be bad, can be deadly for Fido. So we don't want to give them any orange peels or lemon peels or even any part of citrus trees or fruits. Chocolate is the next thing on the list. Now, we've all been told to keep our chocolate away from our dogs, but it is for a really good reason because the cocoa beans that is what is used to make chocolate contain a chemical which becomes toxic to dogs if they ingest and too much of that chemical, depending on what type of chocolate or the body weight of your dog, it could just give your dog stomach cramps, thirst, diarrhea. That's just really tough on Fido's tummy. The next thing that Fido should keep clear of is coffee or colas or any type of caffeinated anything because caffeine can also poison a dog. I know I've had a dog that just loves the smell of my caramel macchiato. Need to keep it away from her. Next, I had a cousin who had experience with her dog got a piece of a veggie burger which had onion powder in it. And onions and garlic are especially harmful to our dogs, no matter how it's prepared, because it can affect their red blood cells. I know onions can make the bowel adheres together. It is potentially fatal to dogs if ingested, as are grapes and raisins. Now, this is something new that I had learned that experts don't know exactly what it is in grapes or raisins that makes them toxic to dogs, but any amount can be dangerous for your dog. So that is one thing to keep in mind. That those things aren't the extensive list of everything that a dog shouldn't have. Though that list isn't complete, those are some of the main things that I know that are in my kitchen that Fido can be exposed to on a regular basis. The ASPCA has an animal poison control center and they are able to be consulted. It's a 24/7 hotline, as is the Pet Poison Helpline. It is petpoisonhelpline.com. It's good to go and maybe look at some of these lists to know what to help Fido avoid. They are open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Definitely call them if you think that your pet may have ingested anything that's potentially poisonous. It's good to know what may hurt Fido so that if we see any of the symptoms, this also same goes for cats too. We need to be aware of cats shouldn't be eating any of the people food either, though they're a lot more discerning in their tastes. All right. So thank you very much for listening today. Check out those websites before you need them, before you have the family over and somebody maybe trying to slip Fido something under the table. You'll know what the symptoms are and you'll know how to act ahead of time. You'll know where to go should you ever need to. Or maybe a friend will need this information. It's good to know. Thank you very much for joining me on this episode, and ta-ta for now.